And actually what the TfL line was not on the survey responses. The TfL press line was that this research did not offer any suitably new insight. Now, you are somebody that's claimed from 2021 and beyond and previous to that LTNs reduce traffic. Actually, this is a new insight.
Assembly Member EmmaBest, to do with the suppression of the LTN report.
Thank you, sir. My leave Arch files let me down. Thank you. Thanks for your question. Transport for London is committed to supporting high-quality research that helps it understand how its policies and programmes are working for Londoners. I was not aware of the specific report mentioned in the question, the commission of the report, or the decisions taken in relation to the continuation of the research or the publication approach. My understanding is that the reason that this piece of work was not taken forward by TfL is simply a matter of not reaching a sufficient sample size to undertake the main aim of the research. The research was commissioned with the University of Westminster in 2021, with the main aim of the study being longitudinal analysis of the impact of LTNs on London's residents' travel behaviours. Due to the slowdown in introduction of new LTNs since, this analysis was unable to take place, and the decision was made to put an end to the study. My understanding is that the insufficient sample size meant the findings were not conclusive enough to merit publication. There is already a large body of evidence and research on LTNs conducted by independent academics, as well as data collected by TfL and the London boroughs. This includes both data collected over an extended period of up to 5 years from LTNs in place in Waltham Forest prior to the coronavirus pandemic, and from more than 100 LTNs installed since 2020.
The exchange begins with the Assembly member challenging TfL's explanation for shelving a major LTN research project. She points out that TfL's public press line claimed the study offered no new insight, yet the findings showed something different, evidence that contradicted long-standing claims that LTNs reduce traffic. She argues this was new insight and should not have been dismissed. She then introduces Assembly member EmmaBest, who questions whether
the breadth of evidence provides a lot of data on the impact of LTNs, and I've been informed that TfL will continue to monitor, research and evaluate the impacts to ensure it's delivering for Londoners. Generally speaking, LTNs provide important benefits to communities, enabling more people to walk, wheel and cycle for shorter journeys, and in turn reducing road danger. Many of London's boroughs are continuing to develop new LTNs, as they recognise the important role they play in supporting local communities. I'll continue to support councils as part of a broader Healthy Streets approach to create a future London that is a better place for all to work, live, travel in the capital.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. When it came to light that the £82,000 taxpayers had spent on this research was just going to be shelved and that money wasted,
EmmaBest asks the Mayor directly about the £82,000 in taxpayer money spent on the research before it was abandoned. The Mayor explains he had no prior knowledge of the report, its commission, or the decision to discontinue it. He says the study, run by the University of Westminster, failed to reach a sufficient sample size to meet its main purpose, long-term analysis of the impact of LTNs. Because of this, TfL concluded the findings were inconclusive and not suitable for publication. He highlights that TfL already has a large evidence base from more than 100 LTNs across London.
Did you ask Deputy Mayor Seb Dance or Walking and Cycling Commissioner Will Norman if they had been a part of this decision?
The first I know about this is when I was preparing for this MQTs, but I'm more than happy to go away and look into what Deputy Mayor Seb Dance and Will Norman knew.
I think that's really shocking that the first time that this came to your light was being asked about it after the scandal that's occurred, because if you look at this isn't the first time with TfL. This follows on from your old Deputy Mayor for Environment, Shirley Rodriguez, trying to suppress research on the ULEZ when she didn't like the outcome. And if I could read you some of the quotes from TfL and GLA staff, it's really concerning. On this suppressed research, which showed that traffic didn't reduce in LTNs, one staff member said, from the point...
Best presses harder, asking whether the Mayor questioned Deputy Mayor Seb Dance or the Walking and Cycling Commissioner about who made the decision to end the study. The Mayor repeats that he only learned of this situation while preparing for the meeting, but says he is willing to investigate what his deputies knew. Best expresses shock at his unfamiliarity, calling it part of a pattern, pointing to past accusations of TfL suppressing research on ULEZ when outcomes were unfavourable. She cites internal staff comments describing the LTN findings as a lot of text and numbers that say nothing much has changed, suggesting...
A view of my work on the evidence base for LTNs, as you say, this wave isn't going to add anything that we can use. Another staff member said, It's just a lot of text and numbers to say nothing much has changed, right? Another staff member said, it's not something to bother higher powers with yet, he. And one member said it was a bit underwhelming, but offered that they could create a suitably contextualised and caveated summary that TfL could instead publish. Are you concerned with this at all?
I don't think there's a smoking gun or a conspiracy. I think what happened was there wasn't enough data to complete the study, so it decided to not complete the study.
There was 4,500 surveys completed. That's 4,500 Londoners that gave evidence. You are putting press releases out to the London...
In response, the mayor rejects any suggestion of a conspiracy, insisting the real issue was insufficient usable data to complete the study. Best counters that 4,500 survey responses were collected, a far higher number than used in many previously publicized TfL studies. She argues TfL's claim that the study lacked new insight is inaccurate because the results contradicted the narrative that LTNs reduced traffic. She accuses TfL of shelving the report simply because it did not support the mayor's preferred standard.
When you've got 12 responses on Oxford Street, this is 4,500 responses. And actually, what the TfL line was not on the survey responses. The TfL press line was that this research did not offer any suitably new insight. Now, you are somebody that's claimed from 2021 and beyond and previous to that LTNs reduce traffic. Actually, this is a new insight. Is it not the case? It's just an insight that you don't like.
Well, there was an insight, the research done from the Department for Transport in 2024. I think Mark Harper commissioned the work in 2024. From the DfT.
We're talking about this research and this insight and the fact that TfL put a press line out saying this was not a new insight. It was a new insight, you just didn't like it.
Well, my understanding from the limited amount of work undertaken was what the
mayor maintains that other substantial research, including government-commissioned work, shows LTNs increase cycling and support safer streets. He says the Westminster study lacked the necessary longitudinal depth to publish a full report, leaving it incomplete. Best disagrees, insisting the wave that was completed was ready for publication and revealed results that were simply inconvenient. She concludes that £82,000 was wasted because TfL didn't like the results. The mayor closes by reiterating that the broader body of evidence supports LTNs and that this single study did not reach the threshold needed for credible publication.
Insight showed was that more people are cycling, but there wasn't enough in terms of an evidence, a longitudinal basis to publish the entire report, which is why University of Westminster didn't complete the report. You've got one incomplete report here and hundreds of reports here. I know what I believe.
It wasn't an incomplete report. It was done in waves. This wave was complete. It was ready to publish. But I think it showed something, and I don't think I could put it better than the TfL staff member that said, it's just a lot of text and numbers to say nothing much has changed, right? And that's £82,000 of public money down the drain because you didn't like the results. Thank you, Chair.
Well, as I said, Chair, there's hundreds of reports that show how effective LTNs are in making streets safer, in reducing traffic within their areas, in enabling people to walk and cycle, in reducing crime in those areas and shown to reduce car ownership and car miles driven. This one particular piece of work wasn't sufficient data to conclude the reports, and there's no smoking gun, no conspiracy.